Okay, so some of you have messaged me asking me to give more details on what our cash envelopes look like. I'm gonna be honest, we just get the typical envelopes from our bank. I mean, like these are like when we go in, make a deposit, and then maybe ask for some cash back, we get these envelopes every time. And you can go into your local bank and ask them if you can have some of their envelopes. I'm not fancy enough to really care what mine look like other than like I add some washi tape across the top. So I will give you guys a demonstration. I have a Debt Snowball envelope. We have our tithing envelope. We have our family savings, which is different from our emergency fund, and I'll explain those two for you a little bit later. We also have weekly fuel. We have Eric's cash. From time to time, the girls need haircuts. Lately, I've been doing them myself, so this is probably an obsolete envelope. I always have one empty one, and this one is for an envelope for the next month that maybe I wasn't thinking about and like, oh yeah, I need an envelope for that. So we'll cash flow into envelopes if we need to. And then the one that my kids enjoy the most is the Wednesday fund. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. I also have for the month of February and March, the birthday fund. So my sister and my brother-in-law both have a birthday in February, and then my sister-in-law has a birthday in March. So I have their birthday envelopes that will cash flow into. And these are only like, you know, $5, $10 at a time. So these are just kind of as things go. I did take my money out because it was falling out of my envelopes while I was trying to record. So, you know. All right, but some of the ones that I wanted to talk to you guys about that I use on a very weekly basis. All right, so we have $55 that we put into the weekly fuel. I'm the only one that has to purchase fuel for my vehicle. Our next one, and this is our tithing envelope, and we put 10% of our paycheck into the tithing envelope, and yes, the Wednesday fund is a lot of fun. This is the account that the kids get to use on Wednesday nights on their way to church. It's like 20 bucks. That's all they get, and that's what feeds them their supper. So because Brianna drives everybody to school and to church, this is my contribution to them on Wednesday nights, so I don't have to make a meal because I don't get out of work in time to go home and make supper and then them drive to our church. So the next one that I want to talk to you guys about is the two funds that are very similar. We have an emergency fund, and then we have a family savings. So our emergency fund is right now being rebuilt, and so nothing really goes into the family savings anymore until the emergency fund is rebuilt. But then once the emergency fund is rebuilt, that money that was going into the emergency fund is actually debt snowballed, and that's this guy right here, debt snowballed into our next debt. And then there are times where like we want to have an extra $100 to be thrown into our debt snowball to go towards payments. And sometimes we have over $100 in our debt snowball. And that is when, if this is fully funded, then it goes to the family savings. Does that make sense? I know it's not exactly as Dave Ramsey said, but I love to have the family savings for things like when the kids come home from an FFA meeting and they found out that they both have to have $15 t-shirts. Well, instead of trying to figure out how to make this week's budget work around $30 extra in t-shirts, I can say, okay, we can take that from the family savings. So that's kind of what that's about. Eventually, I would like us to be where we can cash flow for vacation, and that would come from the family savings. So that's what those are. And then, like I said, the debt snowball envelope, we literally, I mean, like, and I don't even wait for it to get to $100. Sometimes I will just pay on the debt, or pay that extra money that I have in the debt snowball, whether it's $40 or $80 or whatever, just because I'm excited and I want to get out of debt faster. So, and to be really honest with you guys, I am thrilled. Our next debt is like, we're $750 away from getting that paid off. So I can see this ending by March, even with the rebuild of the emergency fund. So that is our envelopes. hit me up with any questions that you guys might have. Let me know if you guys really like this video. I'm always excited about getting thumbs ups. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like to share them on your social media accounts, that always makes me feel really happy. So love you guys. God bless.